is the fourth and final episode of Making Multi-Channel Music, which has been a series of talks by a bunch of different artists talking about how they approach creating multi-channel music, specifically in this speaker system here in the room, but also in general. And we're very excited to continue it today. If any of you are new to this space, welcome to Elastic Arts. This is a spot where lots of exciting and really cool music happens of all kinds, including music with these speakers, but also all kinds of other things as well. If you would like to get one very well-crafted email a week that tells you about what's happening here, there is a sign-up sheet on a clipboard at the back of the room. Please put your name and email address there, and they will be in touch with you. I'm here representing an organization called the Chicago Laboratory for Electroacoustic Theater, or CLEAT, and we are the stewards, the keepers of these speakers. We do a monthly concert series where folks come in and use the speakers to create whatever their imaginations inspire them to create. And a big part of the reason we're doing this lecture series this week or this month is to encourage folks to do that. And so if you are the kind of person who makes music and sounds, not to put too fine a point on what you may do, and using a speaker system like this might be exciting to you, then you should speak to me, speak to my friend Matt Test, who is also a co-founder of CLEAT, speak to Ben Billington, and we can help you figure out a time to come in and try out the system. We can hook you up with resources to learn more about it. We can get you rehearsal time, and ultimately, if you have an idea, we can put you on the series and have you do a performance here. One person who has done that in the past and really knocked my socks off is Kikú Hibino, who is standing right over here and is about ready to start tonight's talk. And Kikú is an amazing composer and sound artist and creator. And I'm really excited to hear what he has to say. So without any further ado, I'm just going to hand it over to Kikú.
Check one. Yeah. Hi. So my name is Kikú, and thank you for the intro, Stefan. My name is Kikú Hibino. I'm a electronic musician, sound artist, and creating music in a hybrid environment like computers and synthesizers. I don't have synthesizer here today, but drum machines and all those things. And then editing and constructing all those recorded sound in the computer and making deconstructed techno music or ambient and all those things. So I have always loved club music, like a techno music such as house. So I feel more at home with drum machine and samplers rather than traditional instruments. So yeah, those computers are my main instrument in a way. And above all, I like to edit, like cut and chop and rearrangement stuff. So yes, this is my lovely instrument again. So today I have 4 tracks with me. One is my 2022 album, Fell to From. And another 2 are from Sky Trajectories, which came out in January 2024 this year. And the last track is I made for Smart Museum just a few weeks ago. And I haven't tested out with any multi-channel speakers yet. So tonight I'm excited to see what's it's going to be with the CLEAT system. So by playing each of these tracks in stereo, I'm going to use stereo speakers too to compare, to highlight the difference with how it sounds from multi-channel or stereo speaker system. So by playing each tracks in stereo and also on the CLEAT system, comparing them and considering together what the differences are. And I think we can highlight the advantage and also disadvantage, if we can find, of the multi-channel. There's always good and bad, right? In stereo and multi-channel. So if we can find it, it could be better to make the both of good thing. So my background, before I go to any music stuff, I just wanted to tell you about my personal background so that you can see the more deeper idea of what I'm doing. So I first studied computer music in Japan. Like, I didn't know what to do, but I started buying sampler and started using the old Macintosh at the university in Japan, and that was my start. But I really wanted to pursue this deep form of sonic art, so I went to California, and my teacher was Curtis Rose at University of California. He's a brilliant scholar and a musician too. And I started composing the sound art in his studio. It's called CREATE. And they always have 4 speakers, not just stereo, it's 4. And to me, so this 4 speaker is called quads. And I remember the studio was very small, like maybe half of this, quarter of this elastic, and we had 4 speakers in a square shape. And I thought I'd grown up with it. So I mean, when I started, the 4 speaker was always there. So to me, the quad was very natural to me for the longest time. And when I graduated and when I came here and I visited a few recording studio to hopefully to get some part-time job as a sound assistant, and I noticed none of the studio has like a quad. Every pro studio has just 2 speakers, stereo speakers, but it's good speakers, of course. And I was so shocked. Oh my God, the quad? What was the quad? Why we had a quad? And I remember in Japan, even in Japan, Japanese university has a quad. So I was like, oh my God, is the quad thing is just the academic or maybe even amateur way of making music? I was so shocked because I didn't see it in the real life situation, especially 2000. So that was just a little bit of small episode, but I like quad system. And now when we say quad, and I say stereo, but what do you? So does any of you here is a musician or like an audio nerd who knows? Like, yeah, I see that. So what about the sound system using the single speaker, just one speaker? What do you call it? Mono, yes, mono. And do you know what the special about mono? Like so in my mind, mono is always some kind of specific venue uses mono. Do you know? Okay, I'll tell you. Maybe it's wrong, but to me, it's always that is club, like a dance club, always use mono sound system because you want to hear every place, everywhere, every location. You want to hear the kick drum, punchy sound, and the mono is so punchy and boxy. So the club typically has multiple mono speakers, like a gigantic speakers, and do very strong sound towards the audience. Why am I telling this? Because the stereo system is very sophisticated in a way. In other words, it's very fragile. And I think this is something I want to talk before going to the multi-channel. Yeah, what I was catching up with my keynotes. But advantage of mono is like a boxy, very strong and very simple. This bad advantage of mono. Do you know this advantage of mono? Well, there's something that you have to be think about. So I'll go ahead and telling you the truth. So the disadvantage is when you have the like a mix, like the music, like when you have the like a bass player is playing something and drum and vocal and the keyboard and all those mixes is playing through the mono speakers. It's sometimes the bass is not like stronger. If you play just one single sound, maybe just bass or just kick or everything, it's getting punchier. But if you play mix layer of the sound through one speakers, it's tend to get the bass is lacking, because that it is. So there's a disadvantages of mono. Well, other things to consider is, yes, we talk about stereo is fragile and mono is boxy, but there are disadvantages, of course. Other things to consider is the interference. So I'm not gonna produce any sound, but you can just look at this stuff. So this is the Japanese, so I might have to tell. So this is the sound source. It's like coming out from the sound, like these speakers. And suppose the sound is coming out from this direction, like you have sound and this sound waves coming to this way. You always have some kind of obstacle in the room. If you are in the room, you always have the room, walls around, and the sound is like lights. It's always reflect. So so this is the sound, the specific characteristic of sound. It's always like a reflect if you don't have anything on the wall, if you don't care of the absorbent, you will always have some kind of reverby things. Reverb is reflection from the wall. So when you are in the church and when you say something and it's like a reverby, that means your sound is coming out to the wall, reach to the wall and get back to you. And if the room is complicated, it's gonna go bounce back and forth, and it's make more reverby if the sound is strong enough to reach to the wall. So that is the something we always have to think about. And why I'm telling this this one-on-one, because I just always think about it. So I think it's really part of this. So for the artist talk, I just wanted to share what I'm thinking about when I make music. So that's the reason why I'm telling this. So for the stereo, wanted to show this. Do you know what this is? I know art professor here. I see Oliver. Yeah, so this is this is the what do you call it? Stereo. Hold on, I make a memo. Stereography device. So this is not the sound, but this is to make. This is the device made by this person, Charles Wheatstone, in the 19th century, and he was a philosophy teacher at the King's College in London, and he made this device to make the 3D perspective of the picture. So this D and C, you can see the alphabet here. The both sides of the panel is drawing, or you can think about it as a picture with a slightly different perspective. So, and these pictures are angled towards the center mirror. This is a mirror, and this is also mirror, and it has right 90-degree angle. And if you put your eyes to the E and F, like eyeglasses, you can see, you're supposed to see the perspective image from the both side of the slightly different pictures to make it real. And this is actually the same technology as every virtual reality headset. You basically has the goggle, and you put it, and there's some mirror somewhere. I don't know much about it, but basically people is telling on the internet that this device is the source, the origin of the virtual reality headset. So this is why I'm showing this. I think this is very similar to the stereo devices. I mean stereophony. It's almost same, because the stereo, you hear a slightly different audio data from left and right, and if you hear it in the center, like you peek through the goggle in the center, you will create, your brain is going to create the perspective. That means the 3D like sound, like coming from the left to right or right to left or whatever. The stereo images is like having perspective in these devices. So I want to test something with you about how stereo works. Let me open the some sound. Okay, so this is the Ableton software that I put the sine waves on the right, on your left, on my right, and another sine waves to the other side. Let me just play. I hope it's not too strong. Is it coming from this side, right? What about this? Coming from that side. And in the definition, this is mono, two mono. I just play back the sound from one speaker each time. Let me play back. This was the same sound, same quality of sound, like a sine wave 440 Hz coming out from the speaker without any manipulation. So you're supposed to recognize the sound is coming from the center. I do one more time. Do you feel it? Is it coming from the center? Even though you don't have the speaker in the center, you are recognizing the something is coming from the center. And that's the kind of trick your brain tricks you, that if you hear the same sound from left and right, your brain thinks the something is in the center. So that's the trick of the stereo. And that's one thing I want to show you. What I'm playing back right now is from this side, the sine wave is reversed. So it's reversed sine wave, and from that speakers it doesn't reverse. So when you stand up, why don't you come and walking around, there's a space or spot that you don't really feel much like a weird, yeah, that spot. Yeah, right there. I don't hear anything like right here. In theory, it has to be in the one long line around right here should be silent. But because just like I said, there's a wall in here and there, so the sound is bouncing back, so it might interfere the theory, but still there's some kind of strange sound cancellation should be occurring. It should be happening somewhere around there too. It should be, the cancellation should be happening anywhere in the room. Are you guys having fun? Good, good. I'm gonna stop the audio in 10 seconds. Okay. So why that was happening, in theory, like I said, all those the waves with the sine and the reversed sine wave should be cancelled because it like a plus and minus is so if you got like this sine wave and that sine wave, if you plus and minus, if you add a plus and minus, it's got cancelled. Anyway, so this place, in theory, this place is like the sine wave is coming, and the other reverse sine wave is coming. So this place can be the zero spot. So in theory, you don't hear anything. As same as this spot too, this spot too, this spot too, this spot too. So, but in this room, we have wall and everything, so interference. So it doesn't really like this picture. However, when you make music, you always have to think about this type of stuff. And yeah, I just did audio testing. Yeah. Okay, so that was 101 of audio and how stereo is kind of fragile and always difficult to manage because it's very sophisticated system. To make it nicer, you have to be in the sweet spot, but sweet spot is not always the center. If you in the it depends on the room, so you have to be very scientific and you have to have some knowledge of measurement of the room. So this Feltofern, I just show you the jacket that was created in 2022, and I want to talk about this piece before I play the sound because it's a very conceptual piece. It was shown in Lincoln Park Conservatory in 2022 from June to October through ESS and Lincoln Park, Chicago Park Systems. So Feltofern is based on the idea of folding, like scientific sci-fi idea of folding. One of the things I did during the ESS residency in 2021 was to visit this internment camp in Topaz, Utah. And there's nothing there, just a barbed wire in the picture, like almost going forever. And I was walking with the guide from the museum through the land, very, very large land that was squarely separated by barbed wire fence. And she explained what had happened here. And then in my mind, the scenes of life of the concentration camp from 1942 to 1945 layered onto my visuals, because she's explained vividly about what was happening there. And it looks empty wasteland. So in my mind, I'm like having like augmented reality things, like layering the imaginary internment camp in my head. I just wanted to mention about one more device. Why I was having a folding idea was also this. I was reading this book since 2002, and this was the book by Okazaki Kenjiro, Japanese artist, and he was so into this Italian architect, Filippo Brunelleschi. And I was reading his book about Brunelleschi, and it's so interesting. So if you want to know, maybe you can just research. He's a Renaissance man, and he's credited with inventing the one-point perspective using this device, which is kind of complicated device, but I don't want to go to the detail, but this is you put your there's a hole here and here, and you have like, let's say the big charge here, the real charge, and you have the mirror here, and again it's in the hole, and you see the charge, real charge from this hole, and what you are having here is like the drawing of the perspective drawing of the real charge. So by holding this, you can find the vanishing point, and by sliding all those two things, you can almost layer the drawing to the real church, real architecture. So this is also this was always in my mind. So the seeing all those topaz was and explaining something to me. I was like having like imaginary stuff on top of the nothingness of the topaz. So let's go into I'm going to the detail about the Feltofran production. So I began working on the Feltofran shortly after the residency. And have you been to the front room at the Lincoln Park? It's like it doesn't look like a time machine, right? It's not just a building, but as a concept, it's a time machine. Why? Because this architect, the landscape architect, his name is Jens. Hold on. Jens Johnson. It should be Jens Johnson. Yeah, Jens Johnson. His name is Jens Johnson, and he created the room in 1906. And according to the Lincoln Park Conservatory website, it says a glimpse of what Illinois might have looked like 3 million years ago. So basically, Jens Johnson tried to create the room as, to me, it's like a time machine, because he wanted to create the almost BC period of the Chicago landscape. So I grew up in Nagoya, which is the center of Japan, and my grandparents had a relatively large Japanese garden with ferns, and it was a beautiful garden. And there was a well, and I could hear the sound of water, like from shishi odoshi, which is like a bamboo devices that you can hear the water. And I spent a lot of time as a child in the garden, so I decided to fold the Japanese garden where I grew up onto the front room, which is, like I said, essentially a time machine, where time and space have already been folded by the architect. So, and I also use my childhood memory as my guide to make the music more persuasive or more my things for me. So what was the memory? So I put it on. I wrote it in the booklet of the installation. But one day, in the middle of the dance from thicket, my grandfather picked up a baby chick that had falling out of its nest. And I have memory of raising them together. Let's take these memories, time and space, and fold them into the front room here in Chicago. And I thought, like, plants seems always smart to me. So maybe I thought they can understand what I'm trying to do at the front room. Very sci-fi idea, but I like the idea. And so that was the basic concept of the music. So what's to do with the audio? So I told you, like, I wanted to fold my memory or my Japanese garden onto the front room. That should be something like a sound shower. I needed something not like so sophisticated in a way. I mean, in a stereo way. I want sweet spot everywhere. I want fun in the fun in the front room to listen to the music like equally. So in a way, I wanted to build the club for fun. So what's the best way to achieve this? It's a mono. So I started speaking with Alex about what's the best way to make my desire of having the club, making club for fun. And I made a two version. One is for mono. By the way, purple is the speaker's location. And they have nice speaker, but it's not like something you can like change the location of the speakers. So so I got 4 sets of mono files and 2 sets of stereo files. And we went into in the phone room and play back the stereo files first. And it was just beautiful. I thought stereo is just too fragile, but somehow it worked. I don't know why. Maybe the location of the speakers. So, or the front act as some kind of reflector or even absorber. So it makes just beautiful. And when we play back the sound, I was like, oh, this is it. We can just go with 2 sets of stereo sound. And that's how we made the final version of the filter from. So it was created for the 4-channel, but in my studio, I only have 3-channel system with two speakers and one subwoofer. That's my regular setup. So this Ableton file here is the how I. This is the pre-master, just a raw sound from the fresh out of Ableton, and I'll just. It's a long piece, so maybe I'll just play like a 5 minutes from 2 speakers here, and let's compare it with the CLEAT system later, how the sound is gonna get different. I think I want to explain the contents while you are listening. There's always water sound is coming out, but this is a sampler. Because it's so difficult to make the water sound consistently, the good sound, I put the good portion of nice sound into the sampler and make it divided to make some kind of beats. But the purpose was the music for the phone, which I think they are not like us, and I believe they are more clever than us, so maybe they think the 4-on-4 beat might be boring, so I thought I made the beats a little more complex. You can see this tenori, and what is this tenori, you may ask. This is a small device. It's like a toy-like devices from Yamaha, which one of my friends who we went to graduate school, I mean undergrad together. He graduated and he went to Yamaha and he created this device. So I wanted to use that device for this production. I never used it before because to me it's like too toy to me, but now for this production it's so the right instrument to use. And you see iPad here. What is this? So I use the iPad a lot for the granular synthesis. It's so easy. You can export the sound from Ableton to the iPad. Granular synthesizer. There's a bunch of applications on the market, and let me highlight. Like this. You can tap the iPad and make the granular sound. And all the other thing is like synthesizers, like Prophet. This is a Prophet. And audio means possibly modular, but it doesn't say. I don't remember what was this, but this one says OP1, so it's OP1. So very nerdy, but if you guys want to know the information, please ask me later. When you look at this, you see the two waves, so you might think this is the stereo sound, but it's actually mono. It just recorded in two tracks, two separate tracks. So it doesn't have much wider stereo field, and that was my intention of make not too wide in a stereo perspective. Alright, I stopped this stereo version here. And so that was a two stereo speaker version. What about this CLEAT? Why you don't use CLEAT even though I'm here? So let's use the CLEAT. I never played the filter phone on a CLEAT system, so this is my first try. But during the sound check, it was so beautiful. So this is a Max MSP Max, and I'm not a programmer, so I don't really know how to create the max patch for the CLEAT from the scratch. So what I did was to go into to download all the max patch from the CLEAT website, and I combined 3 of Wanderer patch together and make it something that might work for my purpose, which is like a sound shower, but at the same time, because the CLEAT is sophisticated in moving the sound around, so I add some adjustment to the metro field so that you can control how fast it gives the patch the random location. So what I'm gonna do is like open the sound file from the open field and put the 3 sound files together on each patch. and layer them. And by clicking this, start wanderer. So this ball is indicating how the sound is gonna move around. And I'm gonna start the file. So why I put 3 of them? Cause if there's only one sound, there's always some place that you don't hear much. So just to avoid that situation, I added now 2. It's much better to me. And now I'm gonna add 3. So it's more democratic because everyone can hear, even if you are in the edge of the room. So I don't know, maybe that might be a better way, but if you, because I'm not the Max programmer, but I found this metronome number going smaller, the panning value is set to the center. So if you want that effect, you can do that. And also you can move the panning location by hand too, if you want to. But I like to move things around, so I will increase the value to the default. Wasn't it good? No? So this was the Fail to Front piece. That was 2 years ago, and I, like everyone else, I got bored quickly of what I'm doing. So I wanted to try something new and something more stimulus to my creativity. So I kind of changed my style to something different. Check 1. Okay, so I told you I had a few tracks, and this is the second tracks, and it came out in 2024, just this January, and it's called Sky Trajectory from Superpang, and it's available digital only for now, but keep in touch, because it's gonna be a great news soon. So this piece, this album was originally planned to be a live album, and to be released only as a modular synth recording that I played for Conki's exhibit at Wrightwood Gallery, Wrightwood 659 in June 2023. But I really wanted to make something new and longer for the album, so I remember I rushed it out in December, like almost 4 weeks before the deadline, because it's digital, so you can work until the very end. But I was so behind, and I invited Whitney Johnson to the ESS, and I really wanted to have some kind of voice, and I knew that I heard her singing at the concert at the University of Chicago, and I immediately thought, oh, this is great to have Whitney for this project. So we recorded her voice at the ESS with Kate, and I started making something. I started tweaking and put every recording into the samplers, and I wanted to make something out of it. And initially, this was the kind of my, this is, by the way, Konki draw the cartoon, and this is supposed to be me and Whitney like doing some acrobatic thing in the space, and that was the initial kind of inspiration for the whole album. So I actually created kind of stupid, not the stupid, but very bright, almost you can sing on the top of it, techno beats. But after I invited Whitney to the recording studio, she came with the Anne Carson poetry, which is not this vibe at all. It's more dark. It's not dark, but it's more deep and more. I don't say this is not deep, but it's a different style. It's like this is like so Anne Carson's text is like just more of Yoji Yamamoto, or like maybe the early Comme des Garçons, like black avant-garde, but it's feminine, but it's super strong style. So after we recorded the vocal, I completely changed the direction to something more deeper. I opened the different file, so let me hold. I'm gonna show you symptode CLEAT. So this song is called Asymptote. It's like I still like the idea of exponential things, like the spiral idea of the sky stars or rocket, or even the missile, because in December in 2023, those Gaza situation was so bad, and you can't just make music. There's something so devastating is happening out there, and I felt a little bit overwhelmed of just making music, and especially previously I had a very stupid techno like tracks ready for the album, but so I changed it to myself into something a little bit more true to my soul at the time. And again, this I created from my stereo system. So I'm gonna give you the listen from the stereo speakers. So okay, so let me break down a little bit. If you have the album, it might sound very different because it's a pre-mix and it's a pre-master. And I actually gave all those stem files to Taylor Dupree, and he mixed it so well. This is my version of mix, so the Whitney's voice is kind of somewhere. I mean, it's a little weaker. And in the album version, it's so front. That is the magic of mastering engineer. So for the breakdown, everything is from modular for this case. This is the top one is Buchla 20208C, which was sequenced from the vector sequencer. And the second low should be, I think it's a squid slumpo sampler in the modular, which has a bunch of beats. And I use just one kick sound. Third one should, this should be noise in engineering BIA, I believe. That one was Akemi's Taiko, and or maybe this one. Oh, this one should be Akemi's Taiko. That one should be Platz from Mutable. So it only has 4 voices. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 modular sound sequenced from the vector. And why you're having this kind of beats? Because the vector is vector's clock, is set to the LFO. So LFO's movement is affecting vectors bits. So basically very simple, because I wanted to go a little bit minimum to not to interfere the vocal. So that was stereo version, and I wanna play with the CLEAT. I'm gonna use the same patch. Because this symptom is very long piece, I want to go a little shorter. Yeah, short. And I open 3 of them again. And start Wanderer. One is up. Two is up. Three.
Keeping our eyes down. Finding where the wind came from. Everything might spell. Keeping our eyes down. Burning here and there. Let's prowl the room. Everything might smell. Everything might smell. Burning here and there. Everything might smell. Burning here and there. Where is that wind coming from? Let's prowl through. The surface relaxes. Spills. Drifts on. Now she can leave.
There's one more track I want to show you guys. Are you guys okay? Yeah. So there's a one track that I created a long time ago, but I wanted to include it in the Sky Trajectory album. That was I think I played here in CLEAT in 2021 or 2. And this song was specifically created for this system. And at that time, I was not sure if this music should be played through max patch, because it's just it's a simple music, but it's still it's so many ingredients in the music. And again, this is beat-based music, and it's good to get out from the preferably mono. And I don't want the panning for this music, because it's a dance music. You don't want to pan. But still I want to make use the movement. It's not the panning. It's more like a movement. You wanna see. It's almost like a beam of the lights coming out from each speakers, and I wanted to see all those reflections through this. So what I did was, if you see this tracks, all those external output is assigned to 1 through 16. So there's total like 36 tracks, and it's assigned to each. The segment was assigned to the speakers. But since I duplicate each music element, and by muting several segments, the music motif or the element doesn't not just coming out from one specific place. It's moves the location, but it's not panning again. So let's listen to this. this piece was very manually made to make to coming out the sound from the each speaker. So it takes time, and but I think it's if you are not a max expert like me, I think there's a still way to make use of this wonderful system by like manually uh, think about it, the matrix of the speaker system, and assign the each sound to the speakers and make it shuffle. So that's what I did for this piece. And I just want to say about this one thing, but it's the basis is 5, and it's always 5 beats. It's in the core of this music, and I wanted to start with just simple dun 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 dun, and just 5 notes, and I wanted to explore. I wanted to enlarge the very minimum musical element to the maximum, something larger, but it's not like adding many things. It sounds kind of it sounds fantastic, but it sounds the sound source is kind of limited. I only use multiple plugins and Prophet and not many sound. But by creating some kind of beat patterns in a different way, it can create some beautiful patterns. And I pretty much happy with this piece, and I wanted to continue the this concept of 5, make it to something weird and beautiful. So I wanted to play one more tracks by using this CLEAT patch. I just keep using it because I like this. It's so easy and it just sounds good. So the last track was a few weeks ago. I had a show at the Smart Museum, and that was I created a new piece. Thinking about the exhibition that was going on, that is still going on at the Smart. It's about Meiji, Japan exhibit. And is any of you guys here went to the show museum? No, it's a Meiji era exhibit. So it's what I noticed was when into the gallery, the whole color palette was the different, very not bright, of course not. No, almost no primal colors. There's a silverish, dark silver. The gold is shiny, but the other color choices was very sophisticated in a good sophisticated, and not like a bright, but it has depth. And that color was so interesting because I know that color because I grew up in Japan, but I was so away from my country, and I kind of forgot the beautiness of the subtle thing. But having said that, I like primal colors, like vivid colors. So I wanted to make not soft music again, but a little bit punchier. And again, I invited Whitney to make, because I like to work with the voice, because it carries the meaning uh, into the into the sound, and I really like the the recognition. It's more like it's not just like um, listen to the pop music. It's more of uh, it's hard to tell, but it's more twist my perception in a way when I play my techno and also the words. Let's hear it. Thank you so much. So this is all I have today. And I used the simple max patch, but I think it's really interesting to just click and just stop and start the wonder element. It's still something like change the sound location, and I think it has a lot of potential to make it something more interesting. So now I wanted to learn a max more, and I need Stefan for for educate me. But thank you so much. Yeah, thanks.
Thanks so much, Kikú. That was so great to hear all that stuff and to see this patch being used in this way. We've normally been doing a bunch of questions at the end of each of these sessions. We went a little longer with this session tonight, so if there's any really burning questions, we probably have room for one or two, and then I want to make sure that we have some time to sort of let folks speak to Kikú individually, and also those of you who might be interested in attaching to the system tonight, we are able to facilitate that as well for those of you who came prepared to do that. But are there any questions that anyone wants to squeeze in before the end? Yeah? Okay. All right. I will hand this to you.
Hey, thank you so much for sharing your work. It was great to listen. I was thinking a lot about what you said for the fern piece and that superimposition with the mirror thing and like imposing this impression you have of your grandparents' garden, and how the CLEAT system is almost like a spatial, like takes this space and gives a composer the ability to like impose something on this space, like an image. And I wondered, what is like the ability to compose in a space like in that dimension like mean to you? And also, what would a club with the CLEAT system, like, how would people like dance? Like, what was your best like imagination of that? Just like as a fun, I don't know, question.
Yeah, I think it's I don't know how to answer, but for the fern stuff, it definitely creates some another folding, layering of the piece or the concept, because it's not, this place is not firm, but still I can create some kind of space, right? So it's almost like meta version of the folding. You don't have the ground, but you can still layer your memories or some feeling on top of the music. So, well, I don't know if it's hard to answer, but
Hi. First off, I just wanted to say thank you for sharing those 4 songs with us. They were incredible. And I had a question specifically about the 3rd song. You said that you performed that here at Elastic on the CLEAT system. How did you set up the chairs for that performance?
chairs?
Yes, like how did you have the room set up for
I
that
remember
performance?
it was the same, like this setting.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember it was a few years ago, but I remember. But few people are like almost like a dancing. It's like a walking. And I remember Sarah was like dancing on the chair too. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, yeah. So that this type of music support, I think CLEAT, the best thing about CLEAT is you can walk around and experience the the sound dynamism. So, but today is like the speak. So yeah.
Okay, we have one more. We can do one more. Sure.
So Kikú, thank you. I always love coming to your events and shows. That was wonderful, every piece. So these questions are generating other questions in my head. And I'm wondering if you think a lot about sound and how it's coming through the CLEAT system or mono or stereo. And we talked about space, and you talk about space and folding space and time, and you talked about movement. You had us walk around. I'm wondering, do you also think when you're composing about the movement of your audience and where they move and how they move, and then does that affect your decisions on the sound that you
yeah,
make?
it's really thank you for the good question. So this is news. CLEAT is relatively new to me, and I never thought about the audience moving around because I believed that the artist can just present the work, and the audience can experience the music without without moving or without any like I don't so I went to the school like media arts, and there's so many interactive arts, like you came and touch and something moves, or like you have to be on the projector side and do something and react. I thought I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It makes you like the art, those kind of art makes you come to the specific place and doing some specific thing. I thought not the art, and so I hated that. So I so for my work I wanted to just creative. I want to create something like you can uh, recognize it, and I wanted to speak to your perception. That's my that was my goal for the long time. One thing I have to tell you that the Glenn Gould, like a pianist, I think Glenn Gould was telling, writing or whatever, he said or he wrote, even the music sound recording quality is so bad, you can still capture the creativity of the artist. Like let's say like a jazz, old jazz record, like somebody at the club recorded through like a cassette tape, and it's now there's no official recording other than that pirate recording, but we still enjoy it. Like the bird, Charles, what was that? Charlie Parker. I think his recording is almost like pirates. Go no, I don't really know. But anyway, so the recording media, the quality is to me it's important, but it's not the higher priority compared with what I think or what I make, the conceptual idea and all those the new the almost fetish, your fetish or your like thorough editing process is more important to me. So yeah, so I never thought about moving, having moving thing around, but having this stuff, um, yeah, like the last song, the club like song, is something that you can move around and listen to. But it's very difficult for me to take a balance between that, have audience move around. Ideally, it's like the club environment, like when you come to the club and when you like feel the music and when you dance and move around. I think that's very natural and that's very good. But for this type of music, like I think people are very smart, like plant. So I don't want to force them to feel something. So yeah, but it's a good question, and that's food for thought. So thank you.
And I think we will leave it there for tonight for the sort of group part of the conversation. Please come up and talk to Kikú some more, ask questions here. If anyone is interested in plugging into the system tonight with their laptop, talk to Matt and Ben and I, and we can help you out. If anyone just has questions in general about anything here, we're more than happy to help you as well. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you so much to